Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joshua Reynolds, and today is Wednesday, and welcome to Webinar Wednesdays with the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. And today we have a very special presentation coming from our very own Andrea Williams, and she will be talking today about how to seize an opportunity and use labor market research and information to find your career. But just before we get right into it, we have a little bit of housekeeping. Firstly, feel free to ask questions during the event. All questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. And then finally, check your volume to ensure that you can hear us. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Miss Andrea Williams.
Thank you, Josh. Again, that's me, Andrea Williams. I'm going to be facilitating this webinar for you all today on how to seize the opportunities, how to use the labor market information that you can find through the Maryland Workforce Exchange to find the job you want. So the website that we're using is mwejobs, mwejobs.maryland.gov. Hopefully all of you are set up on the Maryland Workforce Exchange and are able to access this information through having your own independent user ID and account. All right, so the goal of the webinar today is to highlight web-based labor market information, or LMI, resources available to job seekers through the Maryland Workforce Exchange. So I just want to also highlight that this is considered the job bank for the state of Maryland. At any one time, there are about 130,000 jobs available on the site, okay? So using this site is actually going to be able to help you enhance your job search. The topic today, what is labor market information? So we're going to cover that. Labor market information activities involve collecting, analyzing, reporting, and publishing of data on economic activities to describe and predict the relationships between labor demand and supply. So that's where we're going to be looking at where the jobs are and who do we have already with the skills to actually take those jobs. Who uses labor market information? What does labor market information include? Specifically, it can include the number of people employed, the wages that they're earning, their occupations, the location of their work in relation to where they live. So commuting patterns can also play a role in that. The number of people available to work in any given area and the occupations that will be in demand for the future. Okay, who uses labor market information? Pretty much everyone. So employers can use it to look at occupational wages, the employment levels, and the availability of workers in a particular area. For job seekers and students, they can use it to look for jobs or occupations in demand. They can look at skills required for jobs. They can also look at education required, training programs available, occupational wages, and then the growth or decline of any occupation. Educators, policymakers, economic developers, as well as career counselors use this data to find out what the labor market can bear for jobs, for wages, and where the people are, and it can influence where businesses actually locate. If you're working with a career counselor, they'll also be using this to identify skills required for a job so that they can be sure you have those skills. They can look at the education required. So is there a credential or certification you need to be able to do that work? And then where the growth is. We don't want to put you in a path where there's actually no growth for a particular career. And they also look at the types of training that workers need. All right. So today we're going to go to our dashboard on the Maryland Workforce Exchange, and we're going to look at the labor market information. What we'll do today is do an area, industry, and occupational search for profiles within Maryland counties, particularly Prince George's. All right. Okay, today using the Maryland Workforce Exchange, we'll look at an area profile, and that's going to include available openings, the most popular skills requested, most popular certifications requested, and the top 10 employers. And we're also going to look at occupational profiles and employer profiles. So now we're going to get into the live site. Okay, I'm going to actually make the site a little bit smaller so we can see it a little bit across. All right. So this is actually going to be your home screen once you log in. What I'm actually going to do, I think what I'll do is I'll sign out so we can get a view of what it looks like from the outside. All right, so we're going to go to the home screen. All right, so this is what your basic home screen looks like. You have username and password, basic keyword searching, but you still have to be registered at that point. And then you also have some links here at the bottom: job seeker, employer, labor market information, targeted searches, and resources. So labor market information is also here. You would need to be registered to get this information, but that's a quick link for that particular information. All right, but we're going to sign in as a user so we can look at information that's specifically geared to us. Okay, you click and you sign in with the username and password and just click sign in. All right, once you're in, you'll be on your dashboard. So your dashboard is going to have a group of widgets that are actually rearrangeable. So you can just, drop and drag if you want to see one over the other. But the place we're going to target today is right here, labor market services. So this is where you can do some of your research around where the jobs are, what relatable skills you have that can translate to other occupations, what salaries are being paid for different industries and occupations. All right. So what we'll do within this section is we'll click on labor market facts first. And it's hyperlinked, so it'll take you to that space. All right. So when we're looking at this particular section, there are quite a few categories. What you would need to do is click on the plus to the side to expand the section, and it will give you some ideas of what information you can get. So for this particular section, we're actually going to be highlighting what jobs are currently listed in our area, where have the most advertised jobs, who has the most advertised job postings, what occupations have the highest advertised salary. So that's all some good information you can get from this particular section. The occupational information section, also very good. You can look at where the highest paying jobs are. What areas have the highest average wage? What occupations in particular have the most future job openings? Also, other really good information. What's the fastest growing occupations? You can also look at educational requirements within your local area. And then employers in the local area. So we actually just do this one first. What are the largest employers in our area here? What specific employers are in our area, and what employers have the most advertised job openings? That's the one I'm going to click because we want to see who's actively looking for employees. All right, so for Prince George's County, because I'm registered as a Prince George's County resident, it's already pre-filled to that, but you do have the option here to make a change. So if you want to look at the area, if you want to look at a geographical or metropolitan area, a region, you can actually change that, but we're going to leave it on the county. And we'll click continue. Okay, so now I'm going to get a nice breakdown of employers by openings, by number of job openings. So we can see in Prince George's County as of yesterday, April 4th, and the systems generates that way. It categorizes the data so there's like a 24-hour push. So anything new today won't come into the report until tomorrow. All right, so on number one ranked, Doctors Hospital, 260 positions. And these are actually all hyperlinks. So if you want to actually go out and look at those positions, you can just click on the link. University of Maryland, 239 jobs. Dimensions Healthcare. So this is a good way for you to get an idea of who's actually hiring right now in your area. And then once you're able to break down the occupation or the industry and get a real idea of where those particular jobs are, this is actually very helpful. Let's click on one here. Prince George, Washington Suburban Sanitary Commission. Let's click on that one. If we click on the link, now you actually be able to see those individual jobs. You'll get the date that they were posted or modified, the company, well, actually, I'm sorry, the position, the employer, which we already know, the location of the position. And in some instances, we'll also be able to get the salary. salary range. Now, any job that's posted with the star next to it, those are actually going to be in-demand occupations. Not in-demand occupations. They're going to be preferred employers. Those are employers who actually work with our state of Maryland business consultants to develop these jobs for our job seekers. So they actually usually give us a little bit more information, and I'll click on the detail view so you can get an idea of what level of information you can get. All right. So of these 128 jobs, the preferred employer position actually is going to give me a little bit more on how much experience I'm going to need. And then also give me a smaller number. So, if it's a pretty small number, that's actually probably one created by staff. Some of the longer numbers are pulled in. So that one has a dash. So that's one that's actually pulled in. All right. And then you can see some skills matching here. And this is based on you entering your skill sets within the Maryland Workforce Exchange. So they actually meet, if you hover, you can see 2 of 17 skills that are required for that particular position. All right. He's not necessarily looking within this industry, but you can get an idea of what I'm actually talking about. All right. So we'll go back out. So that's some good information you can get just around the top employers within Prince George's County. All right. So I would encourage you to go through and check some of these different links, get an idea of what's behind each one if you wanted to get some specific demographic information about the area. All right, we're going to go back out to our dashboard. All right, and we're now going to look at an area profile. And this is key if you're looking at a particular county or area and when you want to get an idea in general about the labor market information. We're going to still stick with Prince George's County, and we're going to click continue. All right. So for Prince George's County, you can hover over these categories at the top. So the basics are about, total average employment, 251,000. Looks like that average wage, 45K. Okay, we'll come down and get some more specifics on that. All right, so for the job data, Prince George's County, job openings advertised online through the Maryland Workforce Exchange, Prince George's County, Maryland, as of yesterday, 10,590 jobs, and that's represented there. With the March average, jobs duplication levels 2, so that'll show you based on how employers post, they try to limit the duplication. But with that said, it's 17,494. All right, so that's advertised jobs. We come down a little bit more, and now we can see how Prince George's ranks among other counties. So for distribution, Prince George's County right now has 10,590 available positions online, but you can see Montgomery County actually has almost a little less than double that, about 9,000 jobs more. So this will give you some indication on where the jobs are within the state. All right, we come down a little bit more, and now we can look at those same advertised jobs within the county and identify the skill sets required for those jobs. So it looks like based on the advertised jobs we mentioned at the top, about 10,000 or more, we have customer service being the #1 skill advertised within those job orders, which is 4,801. The second will be problem solving and then interpersonal skills. So if you're trying to see what's going to get you over the top or make you competitive in some jobs within the county, customer service looks like that's going to be the #1 priority. You can also identify within the area profile advertised job tools and technology. So it looks like the majority are looking for medical vital sign unit accessories. So I'm guessing this is around our healthcare industry that we have within the county. And then you're going to also have some IT. So there's Linux software, and that's 1,000 employers identifying that as a required skill. A required tool or technology. PowerPoint, Python, Unix, polygraph recorders, Microsoft Word, C++. So this is going to give you another indication of what skills are being required within our area. And these are also hyperlinked. If you want to go out and actually review those jobs, you can. We come down a little bit more and we can actually see candidates within our county looking. So there were about 10,000 advertised jobs. We have about 17,680 actually looking for employment. We rank number 2 of candidates looking for employment within the county. Baltimore City is number 1. Baltimore County is number 1. We come down a little bit more, and now we can look at the number of unemployed per opening. So it's like 1.24, so about 1 to 1, 22,000 looking against 18,000 jobs. Now, you have to take it at it what it is, because you don't really know what's behind it, what the jobs are behind that particular number, but you can get an idea that there's a pretty equal balance. But if you look beneath it and you don't see your job, then that means you're going to have to probably widen your radius and look at maybe some other counties to see where your industry might lie or occupation. We come down a little bit more and we can also see the distribution across counties, what it looks like. And then we can also look at the number of candidates based on some other job titles, occupations with the highest ratio of potential candidates. All right. Now, this is another one we looked at before when we looked at the top employers within the county. This is actually going to be specific to the area as well, and it'll just show you the top 10. Our first search showed you, I believe, the top 20 or 30. This is actually going to show you the top 10. You can also look at educational requirements from advertised jobs. And I know a lot of times people believe they have to have an advanced degree or a bachelor's, but right now we have 1,048 open positions in the system where a high school diploma or equivalent is the minimum requirement. So that would be the point. If that's where you are, click on that link, see what those jobs look like. Is there something that you can find entry level into based on the occupation you're actually trying to get into? And then you can see the other breakdown. The next is going to be the bachelor's degree. And then you can also view how you stack up against other candidates. So it looks like minimum education for all the candidates, the highest still again is going to be looks just by a couple of numbers, high school diploma, and then the next is going to be the bachelor's degree. All right, so this information is all behind the area profile. Now, this is another good one because it's more current around advertised job certifications. So a lot of times people aren't accepted for jobs or considered for certain positions because they don't have a particular certification. So this will give you some clue about what certifications are being required for certain positions. So it looks like cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR. Now that actually is probably a component to other things within healthcare. But then you're also going to need CDL, very big in our county. 736 are looking at that credential. So this is based on advertised openings. Certified Information Systems Security Professional, CISSP. And then you're going to look at ITIL. So you can actually look at maybe some emerging things there. Cisco Certified Network Associate, Certified Nursing Assistant. So just another way to see what's out there, what might be keeping you from getting to that next step to employment. All right. So what we'll do is we'll actually go back and we'll now do an industry profile. All right, so when we're looking at industries, you want to be pretty general. So we'll do public administration. If you're not sure what industries to identify or target, click on the next tab over from the keyword, and it'll actually give you the breakdown. All right, and we were actually going to pick public administration. And I actually don't want the subset. So I'm going to go back to the keyword, and I'm going to pick public administration. All right. So you can see here, it'll give you a complete listing with the title and the industry. And then if you actually hover over it, it'll give you a summary of that particular career. So if you want to really see what's behind that particular title, it will give you a little bit of a summary. All right, we're actually going to pick the sector, not the subsector for public administration, so we can get an idea of what's there. All right, so when we look, we can see it's in high demand, 250 current openings just by hovering over this top. There are 95 companies within the area who have those types of position, and the average weekly earnings, $1,714. You get a nice, good summary about the position and what it all entails. And then we'll also be able to click directly on the link to those jobs. So you can go right out, see what companies, what's requested in the background, skill sets, things like that. All right, you're going to get the March summary of jobs. So advertise over that month, 469. And you can see how that plays out against other counties. So with the distribution, Montgomery, Baltimore City, and Anne Arundel have higher numbers, but it's extremely close. And you can look at the advertised skill sets for those jobs. Still, customer service ranks #1. Basic skills, web development, business analyst, office clerk skills, interpersonal skills. All right, now we can actually look at the tools and technology as well. Presentation software, spreadsheets, word processing, all that makes sense for that type of job. We do have a large administrative market within Prince George's County, administrative service workers with the government agencies and entities within the county. So that makes sense as well. And then you're going to look at the certifications. So we're also going to be looking again at CompTIA security certifications, ITIL, CI, SSP. So we're going to need some certifications there. And then if we want to go on and look at the employees, click on the link and we'll get a complete listing of those employers in the area and the employer distribution. All right, so all that's just looking at our one industry, public administration. So I encourage you, if you're looking for an industry that's a little different, to go in and review that data. Okay. The next thing we'll do is an occupational search, so you can see what it looks like at the lowest level based on an occupation. And these are all just quick links from your dashboard. You're not having to get in and do a whole lot of connecting and typing. You can just do this straight from your dashboard. So we'll do occupational search. And we'll actually, I think I'll put bus driver. And you can see as I start typing, it gives me an idea of what should be there. And I'm going to pick this transit intercity bus. So that's like a pretty good search. Let's see what pops up. All right, so for transit and bus, looks like it's medium on demand, not a high school diploma is good, and no real months of experience required. So that's a very good entry-level position to get into. But when you're looking at entry level, you want to be sure you're also looking at what your progression is going to be, where the growth needs to be, so you're not staying in an entry-level position. All right, so if I'm looking at bus and transit, maybe my next step up when you look at available jobs is going to be in this transportation and materials moving, or heavy equipment and trailer, where you're going to need a second level of certification, but you're able to actually make more money and get into more areas or markets. You're not going to be limiting yourself with one. Because you can see here, bus and transit, there are 10 openings, but you look at transportation and materials moving occupations, 436. More opportunities for growth. All right. If you want to click on the link for those, you can actually click on those if they're hyperlinked. All right, you come down a little bit more, you can see Prince George's has the highest amount of openings for bus drivers right now. And Baltimore City second. State level wage, $39,000. That's a great entry level wage for someone who doesn't necessarily need to have an advanced degree. That definitely would be a path I would be looking at trying to develop. All right, when you come down a little bit more, you can see where there are some growth opportunities. The light truck and delivery service, a good area. Looks like there's some jobs, double what it is as a bus driver that are open. Driver sales worker, so that's going to be even more, 88 jobs open right now in the county. And then the highest with some actual real growth in the wage is going to be heavy and tractor trailer truck driver. That's going to move you up to about 43,000 and about 149 positions right now. So always look at the progression. What's going to be your growth? What's going to be your next step up? All right. So we're going to come down and we can actually look at candidates who are looking for these positions. Looks like quite a few. And then we can actually come down and see the candidate distribution. All right. So you can see here that if you get in at this position at entry level, you're going to have a lot of competition. So it looks like it's about 10 open and 75 candidates. That's 7 to 1. So that's when you're really going to want to start looking at some related occupations. Heavy and tractor, trailer, 1 to 1. All right, so that's some good information you can get if you're looking in a particular occupation, so you can try to project your growth. So the last one we'll do is we'll look at some educational. So I know a lot of people want to research education, see what educational LMIs out there about completers for particular programs. And for this one, we're actually going to pick medical assistant. All right, so from the home page, you pick educational profile. And then I'm going to type in medical assistant. Okay, so medical assistant. All right, so it'll actually give you a pretty good link. I only get the one, so it looks like I picked the right title. And then you'll get a little summary if you hover over about what's all entailed in being a medical assistant. I'm going to click on that. Mind you, everything I've looked at as far as LMI has all been on Prince George's County. You could widen that, you can change the county, you can make it just 2 or 3, you can make it a region, but we're just focusing on Prince George's County right now. All right, we can come down. See, there are currently 6 total providers of this training within the county. There are currently 201 total completers. It's in low demand. So this is definitely something where if you already have this type of degree, you want to be able to move that on. What about med tech? What about medical assistant? You want to medical assistant, LPN, something that's going to move you up a career ladder. All right, so we can see the 2 schools that provide the training for us in the county: Fortis College, 117 completers, and Brightwood College in Beltsville, 84. So this is going to give you some good research. What schools actually have the program that I'm interested in? Are people actually successful in completing the programs? Are they getting work after they actually complete? That's the kind of research you want to do when you're looking at a training provider. Go beyond someone told you to go to that school. Do your own research and see how it's going to help you on your career path. All right, so now you can see some other information on post-secondary awards to completers. 201 got their post-secondary award, certification or diploma. All right, and right now, if you want to go look at the jobs, 25 right there posted, and go look at some advertised openings within the county. So this is the kind of information you can get from the system. I encourage everyone to go out and use it, take advantage of it. It's free. And it's actually going to help you target what you're looking for and get the most out of your career and project some ladder. So you're not maybe 5 years down the road back in the same position of looking for another position. I have a couple of resources I want to highlight for you before we finish.
I'll get those resources up in a second, but before we do that, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Ms. Williams for facilitating today's webinar. This has been absolutely amazing. So I just want to give her a big shout out for that.
All right. So some additional resources you can use when doing your research. That's a part of, probably going to need to be a part of, no.
Sorry about that. Hold on.
That's going to be a part of your research. Is going to be the use of the DLLR. Okay. Maryland.gov LMI site. There's also be some very good information collected, statewide data that you can use. And then the the fact finder, factfinder.census.gov. Very good information. Is going to give you some census information, American Community Survey, and then another good one, onetonline.org. That's actually going to give you the knowledge, skills, and abilities for every career that's out there, even some emerging and new careers. So you want to go there, especially if you're now developing your resume, trying to identify where you have translatable skills that can move to a different area. This is actually going to be able to give you some idea of how you can connect those dots. And then I also want to highlight for you that the Maryland Workforce Exchange is also available in an app now, and that's MWE Jobs. So if you're interested in getting access to all this information via your phone, that would be where you need to go, Google Play or the App Store. All right. And then if you want to come in and you feel like you need some additional support, we're here to help you here at the Prince George's One Stop Career Center. And then we also have a Laurel Regional Workforce Center. The addresses are here. We're open Monday through Thursdays, 8 to 4:30, and Fridays, 8 to 2 in both locations.
All right. I'm going to check and see if we have any questions for you, Ms. Williams. Just give me 1 second to check that out. It does not look like we have any questions today. So that concludes today's webinar. Again, thank you so much, Ms. Williams, for facilitating for today. And please share. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good Wednesday.
All right.